type of ecosystem that is very diverse and interactive are forests. There are many types of forests, like rainforests, boreal forests, and coniferous forests. Forest ecosystems and what type of forest ecosystems develop are determined by the climate and precipitation of the area. For example, boreal forests grow in colder climates and in climates with moderate precipitation. These different types of forests construct ecosystems filled with many different types of animals and plants. For example, boreal forests are made up of mostly spruce and pines, while rainforests consist of mostly broad-leafed evergreen trees. However, one thing they all have in common are forest fires. Forest fires affect all types of forests, and the occurrence of forest fires has been globally increasing due to aspects like climate change, where the average global temperature of the Earth is increasing due to an increased amount of greenhouse gases introduced into the atmosphere by humans. After a forest fire occurs, in order to heal and regrow back to its previous state, forests undergo a process called succession. There are two types of succession: primary and secondary succession. If a forest fire has decimated an area and no plant or animal life remains, the area will undergo primary succession, which is succession occurring in a place that had no life before. If there are still remnants of past life after a fire, such as in the soil, an area will undergo secondary succession, where a disturbance occurs and succession follows where not all life has been wiped out. Most forests undergo secondary succession, since a forest is an ecosystem and therefore had life before the disturbance. This secondary succession can be a slow process. Plants referred to as pioneer species are the first to grow back after a disturbance. Some pioneer species are ferns, and as we learned in the lab, red maple trees. Pioneer species move into and inhabit an area around 3 weeks after the area has been disturbed. Animals that have a wide ecological niche, meaning they are animals that can live under a wide range of environmental conditions and not only suitable for very specific type of habitat, are also the first to inhabit these environments after disturbances. Then, as time goes on, other species move into and grow back into the environments which have now been made more suitable by the pioneer species. An example of this is how the red spruce tree moves into an environment after a red maple tree, since they grow best in shade, and the red maples, being the pioneer species that grow and make the canopies, provide that shade for them. The goal of secondary succession is to reach an ecosystem's climax community, the endpoint of an ecosystem after succession, when an ecosystem stabilizes and becomes like its pre-disturbed ecosystem. Forest fires also play a role in forest management. There is a practice called prescribed burns, which is where an area is intentionally burned to manage and maintain the health of a forest. Everything about a prescribed burn is controlled. The location, the time of year, the size of the burn are all planned out beforehand. There are multiple reasons a prescribed burn is created by a forest management team. They get rid of extra forest vegetation, which could be used as fuel for natural fires, causing them to grow beyond their natural borders and become more destructive. They also help with ecosystems in that they can cause a quick return of nutrients to the soil in the form of ashes and provide more sunlight for surrounding vegetation, as a fire can get rid of plants that block the sun. Since forest fires are a natural process, some species have also evolved to depend on forest fires. For example, some pine species require the presence of fires before they can release their seeds, otherwise their cones will not open. And some plant ecosystems can only be maintained through fires, such as the wild lupine. Overall, forest fires are a natural part of a forest's process. However, problems occur when factors like climate change and human actions alter the natural occurrence of fires, increasing their frequency and destructiveness. In North America, indigenous cultures have used fires as a method for control and a part of the natural process for thousands of years. Indigenous values and practices view fire in a holistic sense and from a sense that humans are not in total control of the world around them, and that we are part of the ecosystem, not dominant over it. Indigenous cultures acknowledge that fire is both a force of destruction, but can also be used within an environment to create order. The fire itself is viewed as an agent, not as a tool for humans to just manipulate whenever they want. Some indigenous cultures, like the Cree people, see fire as a spirit, where offerings are made to it. If we took this holistic, non-ego, and agent approach to a fire, this could allow us to realize that not all forest fires must be stopped, controlled, and contained. and the recent view that all fires must be stopped has led to an increase in potential forest fuel and an unbalancing of forest ecosystems. When we view fires as something we must control and manipulate, we are taking a natural process out of the forest ecosystem to the detriment of the overall forest itself.